Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for Thursday, September 12th. If you're looking for the Thursday night football video, that is a different video. We already do have that breakdown out, but here we're going to be going over tonight's 5-game MLB DFS slate. Now, before we get into that, come join us at LineStar. It is only $39.99 a month. Gets you access to all we do. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe to vids. Helps us a ton just to improve our reach and give away more for free. Now, let's get into the slate itself. But before we do that, we will go over the perfect lineups from yesterday. We had an interesting, bigger slate yesterday. 8 games with Nick Pivetta being the perfect pitcher on FanDuel. Then we had a 3-man Dodger stack, 2-man Giants. We didn't have much offense in the beginning of the slate, and the Giants and Dodgers definitely had quite a bit of offense. So not too surprising seeing them there. The Cubs also came through. Cody Bellinger had a game. Suzuki had a game. Suzuki, however, not making the perfect lineup. It is Nolan Chanel, Max Schumann, and Cody Bellinger to round it out. So all 3-2 stack. And then the winning lineup went to Blake Snell. No surprise there as a chalky pitcher, and he did well enough. And then we have a 3-man Cincinnati stack, a 2-man Dodger, 2-man Giants with a one-off of Suzuki. So congrats to El Voodoo 51. You won $10K. And let's move it on. Check DraftKings real quick with the perfect lineup going to Pivetta and Dean Kremer. Kind of surprised. That was a game that I had the most hitting exposure to. So my night didn't go quite as well. I did have a couple lineups, pushing towards the end, but they didn't do quite enough there. Hitters, we had 3-man Dodgers over here, and then all one-offs to get it done. Once again, I didn't play the Top DraftKings tournament, so I don't have that winner for you. So let's dig into the contests itself for today. 5 games. We got pretty low game scores. Red Sox, Yankees is 9, 8.5 for Marlins and Nationals, and then everything else is below 8. So some low scores, some weird pitching. We got Gavin Williams being the highest owned at 7.4K, 2.1X. And Gavin Williams has been fine, but not overly impressive. 4.95 FIP over his last 5, a FIP of 4 over his last 20. Allowing a lot of hard contact. The opponent team splits, however, are definitely in his favor, as Tampa Bay just hasn't been very good. Striking out at almost 28%. Low ISO, 146. Low WOBA, 289. I don't mind taking some Gavin Williams here. However, you are talking about a pitcher that hasn't been that good, being super chalky. So I don't mind Tampa Bay stacks here if Gavin Williams really is going to be that expensive. I don't love Gavin Williams, but I don't mind him. But today is a bad pitching slate. Next, we got Nasty Nestor Cortez. Look, Boston isn't good versus lefties, so I'm very much intrigued here. He has a FIP of 2.9 over his last 5, 4.05 over his last 20. K rate's right around 21%. He's allowing a ton of fly balls, but it's not very hard to contact. And then meanwhile, over the last 20 games, Boston Red Sox, 218 average, 182 ISO, 284 WOBA. So bad WOBA, bad average, decent ISO. So hitting the ball hard, but not really showing much about it. It's usually, nobody on base really. Meanwhile, striking out 32%. I'm very interested in Cortez. Don't mind going to him, and I think he should probably be your highest owned pitcher today and not second highest. Next, we got Bryce Miller, 9.2K. I'm all in on Bryce Miller in this spot. Rangers hit decently versus righties, but 29% K rate with a 3.6 FIP over his last 5 starts. He is averaging 72.7% more fantasy points at home. He is home today. And versus the Rangers, who have a very low ISO, low WOBA, and somehow have a 255 average. I think that's a lot of slap hitting, lucky hitting, and it's not something I'm really here for. So let's attack the Rangers today. BVP data has been solid. They've been hitting Miller well, but Miller's way better at home than he is away. So last time they saw him was away. Actually, every time they've seen him is away. I think he's a different pitcher at home. Let's take some Bryce Miller as well. Next, we got Frankie Montas, 7.9K. He's been very good in Milwaukee. We got a 3.25 FIP, 24.8% K rate there. And then the Giants, they hit the ball hard. 187 ISO over the last 20 games, but only 237 average, only a 311 WOBA. I don't mind just trying to pick on some Giants here and go in with Frankie Montas as well. He's not that expensive. You can do a lot with your lineup having him at 7.9. Really, nobody's that expensive. But by far and away, my 3 favorite pitchers are Cortez, Miller, and Montas. I think the field is right on those guys. Lastly, I want to talk about Mitchell Parker. I think he's a little interesting at 6.8. We have him at 2.3x value, so really nice value here. But this is a guy that has a FIP of 4 over the last 20, and over the last 5, it's down to 3.58 and almost a 27% K rate. And he's going against the Marlins, who over the last 20 games, 221 average, 115 ISO, 275 WOBA, and almost a 27% K rate. The combined K rate here is 26.7%. I am very, very intrigued on Mitchell Parker if he's going this low owned. Think it's a very interesting spot, and he averages almost 54% more fantasy points at home. Think 6.8K is just too cheap for him. And he gets you very, very different. So very intrigued on him. Over on FanDuel, let's check out what ownership looks like. Montas is the most owned. Bryce Miller is second. And Cortez is third. Those are my 3 favorites. So not that surprised by that. With this type of ownership, I'm probably favoring Cortez or Bryce over Montas. But really interested in them all. And with pitching just generally not being this good on that slate, I'm not totally opposed to going to Mitch Parker. We've seen him go 6-7 innings, so quality starts, absolutely in the range of outcomes. He has some upside. He's going unowned. It's a little bit interesting if you want to get different and also pay up for some bats. Now let's get over to Stack Attack. So our ceiling stacks, we got Milwaukee versus Hayden Birdsong. Not that surprising. He has a FIP of 6 over his last 5, FIP of 5.45 over his last 20. I definitely like Milwaukee. They are a solid hitting team. Now our highest owned stacks are also Milwaukee. So if you want to use them, you got to get different somewhere. So either your secondary stack has to be a little different or your pitching has to be a little bit different. But they are definitely in a very good spot. Now our highest projected, we got Milwaukee and we have the Yankees. I think Yankees are interesting. Cooper Criswell hasn't been good and the bullpen behind him is awful. They are also a little less owned than Milwaukee. So it's a little interesting on that standpoint. The one thing is the Yankees have been struggling a little bit lately. However, you never know when Judge is going to snap out of a slump, and he's been in a decently long slump right now. So might be nice to jump back on that bandwagon before everybody else does. Washington versus Darren McCoffin. Yeah, sign me up. Washington's a little bit better of an offense than people give them credit to, and Miami's pitching just not all that great right now. Our highest value stacks, we got San Francisco against Montas and Milwaukee versus Birdsong. No surprise that Birdsong is there, but if you do see the Milwaukee ownership that are the value stacks are way less owned, so it's much more interesting. I don't love Giants versus Montas, but Montas this year has been known to give it up. And the Giants just went nuts on offense last night, so I don't hate the play. Our highest implied run totals are the Yankees at 5. Makes ton of sense. Boston bullpen is terrible. Cooper Criswell has been good. Washington is an interesting spot at 4.7. Then you drop all the way down to 4.1 with Cleveland and Milwaukee. Both are interesting. Yankees definitely are more interesting to me, though. Then you have Seattle and Miami at 3.9 and 3.8. Both have poor bullpens that they're going against. So if they can get it done with those pitchers, it becomes a little interesting there. So that'll do it for us today. Quick 5-gamer. And we also got NFL today. So good luck to you guys. I will be back in later today with some more videos, and back tomorrow with good old MLB DFS and the NFL Week 1 slate breakdown. Week 2 main slate breakdown. You guys have a good one. See you tomorrow. Peace.